So earlier today, I was part of a conversation in which we were talking about, it was a podcast interview, and we were talking about marriage and a lot of other good stuff. And the host asked me about what are some of the things that I think a healthy marriage is built on, some of the qualities that I believe every healthy marriage should have. And I had three. There's more, obviously, but I had three in mind. And both of the three of them were mutuality, that sense of shared power, equal power in the relationship. And then there was the healthy couples are growth oriented versus responsibility averse. Both people acknowledge their part in the relationship and how they show up in the relationship. They take responsibility for themselves and how they show up in the relationship. And the third thing I thought that is really, really important is fun, ability to enjoy the relationship, each other, the place of play and joy, and so in the past, when I've talked about the healthy components of a marriage or a partnership or a relationship, I've had people tell me like, you are whatever you're describing does not exist. Like, sort of like come back to earth. Whatever you're talking about does not exist. And so, in the podcast interview today, I was sharing how saying these things, these components, or discussing how a healthy marriage should look like, does not mean that healthy couples that we will always hit the mark. It doesn't mean that we will always we will never struggle to take responsibility. It doesn't mean that sometimes somebody will feel like, oh, I want to have my way today, or it doesn't mean that we'll always be having fun, always be having happiness and joy in the relationship. But what that means is we will have a healthy baseline. When we are off, we'll know where to return to. And I think that's what is important to understand when we're talking about a healthy marriage, a healthy relationship, healthy connections, and what couples are aiming for. It doesn't mean that the healthy ones are living in that place 100% of the times. Because again, we're human beings and we have human level type of struggles. These are struggle bus. But that doesn't mean that for the healthy ones, and here I'm talking about healthy marriages, doesn't mean that that there isn't a healthy baseline to return to. And that's the point. I think that's the most important thing for us to understand is that we have this basis not because we never leave, but because we know it is there, and we have a responsibility. We've decided this is what we want out of our relationship, and this is where we return to. And so I think that's really important to remember, especially when people want to say a healthy marriage is impossible, because we are trying to say, here's how health looks like. So health doesn't mean perfection. It means we are looking towards that and doing what we have committed. We have vowed what we have committed to each other to do, both for ourselves as the partner and also for the sake of the relationship.